A happening has happened. A happening has finally happened. The hacker known as 4chan has finally himself been hacked. This is a big story. It should be all over the news, but it's not. For all you boomers who aren't sure who 4chan is, he's a notorious far right troll and cyber criminal. He's a system administrator who knows his way around. He's hacked into the cloud and leaked celebrities' nudes. No, I'm just playing. 4chan is this anonymous message board, which compared to other social media sites is basically actually a free speech zone. You can say things that you couldn't get away with on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else. You can just post them on 4chan and you won't get banned for that. And because 4chan is actually totally anonymous and you can say just about whatever you want on there, it has a bit of an interesting culture. The status quo, the mainstream, has always been slightly threatened by it because there is this one board, infamous, you may have heard of it, known as Poll, the political board, where people can anonymously discuss politics. And instead of being a bunch of corporate Dems and progressives and neocons voicing acceptable opinions, it is this seedy, filthy underbelly with a bunch of far right edgelords like yours truly. From Reuters, the notorious internet message board 4chan has been hacked according to posts circulating online, some of which said that the hacker involved had revealed identifying details of the site's moderators to the public. The alleged hack first came to light when a defunct section of the site sprang back up to life with the words, "You got hacked," emblazoned across the top, according to Wired magazine. Alan Gal, co-founder of Israeli cybercrime monitoring company Hudson Rock, said the claim of a hack looks legit, citing the publicly circulating screenshots purporting to show 4chan's back-end infrastructure. The publication TechCrunch cited an unnamed 4chan moderator as saying they had no reason to dispute the authenticity of the screenshots, and the site was only intermittently available on Tuesday. Reuters could not immediately confirm the details of the incident, nor who might be behind the alleged attack. Messages sent to 4chan's press email went unreturned. One of the 24 or so alleged moderators purportedly exposed in the hack wrote back using their 4chan email address to say that the site had released a video statement. The user then pointed Reuters to an unrelated, explicit 4-minute video montage. A request for further information was followed by a link to a different video with similar content. Ha ha ha, trolling. Sparsely designed, aggressively irreverent, and lightly moderated, 4chan has for years served as an incubator for some of the internet's most viral memes, as well as a range of subcultures. The amorphous internet vigilante group Anonymous coalesced on 4chan, as have extreme misogynists, colloquially known as incels, and elements of America's extreme right. It has long been notorious as a place to share gory videos, and more recently became known for hosting AI generated and non consensual pornography. Okay, now before anyone freaks out, this has happened before. 4chan has been hacked before, the site has been down before, and it's come back up. Libertarian correspondent and resident old man General Jack Ripper has confirmed this is probably the third time in the site's history that this has happened. So people saying that it'll be down forever and it's gone for good, that may be a little premature. I don't know. I haven't lived very long, but I was kind of thinking like, why are we all assuming it's gone for good now? But as a result of this hack, not only were many of the identities of the moderators of the site revealed, so too was some very interesting information about where the site gets most of its traffic. And it's, I didn't know it was this bad. It was bad. I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was this bad. Over half the posts on the site apparently come from a particular country in the Middle East. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not even kidding you.
Half of the posts ever posted on 4chan slash poll, the political board, which is international, were posted by Israel, not under an Israeli flag, because you can use any flag, but from the nation of Israel using an Israeli IP address. You may remember all sorts of propaganda pieces saying that 4chan is subject to Russian propaganda, and all these information posters are running out of Russian servers. But to no one's surprise, twice the number of posts compared to even America were coming from Israel, as they run bot farms. The Internet Defense Force runs automated systems to post demoralization and all sorts of disgusting things on this platform. And this is anytime after 2014. So this is everything in the last decade. They also automatically report things that are critical of their country and have them taken down on Meta. Here's the number of posts reported by Israeli government over time by country of origin, and the number of posts actioned upon by Meta over time by country of origin. If you're on a visa or you're emigrating here and you ever critically speak about that country, you may be deported. You may have preconceived notions about what the boards are like, and you may be right, you may be wrong, but the boards are really a place for demoralization and a psychological operation meant to break people, cause more infighting, cause instability, and cause people to either snap or to disregard anything that they learn and believe.
So 4chan has actually been fairly influential in my own life when I was younger. I went on 4chan. I became a basement dwelling chud. It has influenced me in my own views in some ways. I never really considered myself part of the culture of that site. Some people, some users are very proud. They're like, "Oh, I go on 4chan, I go on Poll," and I'm like, I'm not proud of that. It's just a website, you know. But there is a reason that the powers that be do find 4chan very threatening, because again, you can literally say basically anything you want there compared to other social media sites. And I think, as I said before, it's not like the milieu of the political board is not mainstream Democrats, mainstream Republicans. It's all these people with all these non PC ideas, just sharing them, just disseminating them. And there's not a lot people can really do. I do think 4chan will likely be up again soon. I gotta agree with General Jack Ripper. I know the site was hacked by Soy Jack Party, but I don't really see why this would necessarily be permanent. But either way, I got to be honest. The quality of the board was degraded by all the shells. I swear there was some news article or mission statement by some corporate Democrat looking people where they just openly admitted that the way to get people to stop using a site is to lower the quality of the experience on the site. And I believe that's what was happening with 4chan. Now, some people are sad. I'm looking at you, Kayla. But like this is a little bit trash, and it's kind of been supplanted by Twitter, anyways. And in my opinion, it will probably be back in at least a month. But you know what? We'll pour one out like this is a funeral because, nothing's certain. It may not come back. Um, but what I've noticed with Twitter now is that now that Twitter has been significantly freed up in what you're allowed to say on it, is suddenly there's all sorts of demoralization content. There's all these people who want to get you to stray off the right path, as there was on 4chan. There are all those neo pagans on 4chan. There are tons of people who just want to convince you to believe something that's ridiculous, or focus your energy toward a movement that's obviously going to go nowhere. And then they try to browbeat you into believing this by saying, well, you're not really based enough. You're not sufficiently right wing enough by not going along with this. So that's why you need to be some sort of crazy neo pagan. Um, that I believe were some of the psyops that were going on that site. It sort of preys on people who don't have a lot of connection with the outside world, and then diverts their energy and attention into something that will never work, and is ultimately unhealthy and destructive. People often go to 4chan to seek out red pills, to seek out hard truths they won't hear elsewhere online, on the internet, or in person. And it's very easy for bad actors, such as, to plant false narratives there in order to lead people astray. So, even though 4chan, in my opinion, will not be gone forever, just in case, because the website's down right now, I thought I would do a little retrospective, a little reflection on what 4chan has meant to me. And it has been influential in my own intellectual journey. You know, I grew up in a very blue area, grew up in a very liberal area. I started questioning things. Um, by the time I got to college, I went on 4chan, and I, saw, I really saw some opinions that you couldn't say in public that challenged my views and my understanding of the world. And I was very appreciative of that. I really was glad that we had this site here to, I don't know, let people know the truth, let people speak their minds, let people say whatever they wanted. A true free market of ideas, in a sense. That's not even really something I believe in, honestly. I think democracy is ultimately a failure. I think most people are basically robots who will just do whatever they're told or do whatever the media tells them to do. I have no faith that this country is headed in the right direction at all. But I do appreciate that one space known as 4chan, the hacker known as 4chan, for introducing me to so many different views and so many different perspectives and so many different people. Like, one of the reasons that, if I didn't say this earlier, why 4chan was so threatening to the powers that be is because that website had 2 million unique viewers a month. For me, at least, 4chan is just the edgier version of Reddit. Redditors are all soy and terrible. And, the island of misfit toys uses 4chan instead of going to Reddit. And even though I think 4chan will come back, as I said earlier, I still got to pour one out for 4chan because it gave me a space to actually speak my mind and explore different ideas. It really got my noggin jogging, so to speak. It really percolated my peanuts. I really, you can say anything you want on there, or at least you could, and that was very helpful. That's it's very important that we have a space where people are able to do that. This was apparently the last post on 4chan before the site went down. It is, of course, laced with profanity and expletives, as is typical of the site. Offensive to everyone, loved by no one, just generally hard to get along with. But personally, I got to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on 4chan going down, or the influence of a certain country from the Middle East on this message board? How are you guys feeling personally? I know some of you are very upset, but really, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a like, share it if you haven't already, because that is the number one way you can help support this channel. Please leave a comment. I always love reading your feedback. Love to hear your thoughts. And Red Channels will catch you in the next one. And also, by the way, subscribe to me on Patreon if you want to monetarily support this channel, etc., etc. Anyways, peace out. And of course, shout out to my three main lovely patrons, General Jack Ripper, Tara, and William.